I'm going to be doing a disconnected cut today. And the reason I chose this is because inside of my Sharp Scissor Society, which is my membership program, we are currently working with a disconnected shape. And disconnection is so much fun to work with. And normally we think about it with short hair, but inside of today's live, I wanted to do a long disconnected cut. So someone just said, hello, sunshine. Hello. Where are you guys joining from? Type in the chat where you guys are joining from. My husband's kind of on, over there, and he'll let me know where you're from. I won't be able to see all of the comments, but okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm separating out the top from the underneath. And okay, I've got North Carolina, New Jersey, Oklahoma City. Oh, hi, Jose. I am going to be there. We haven't decided the date yet. But I've divided the top from the bottom. Wow, you guys are joining from all over. Thank you. Long Island, California. Okay, when I'm doing a long disconnected cut, what I want to do is I want to make sure my client feels like this is enough hair. So this is a great way to make sure you have enough bulk at the bottom. So I'm going in and I'm dividing the top from the bottom right along this horizontal line. And then I would ask her, I would say, let's say her name is Sally. So Sally, is this enough hair down at the bottom? Are you comfortable with this amount of bulk being left? And I do this a lot of times when someone has really, really long hair. So I'm coming in and I'm going to, did you see Gigi says hi? Gigi Baliao says hi, hello. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to clip away this underneath hair. What this does is it gives me the top isolated and I can go ahead and create my layers with that. Now, where you divide the head is really important. And usually right on the sides, I want to make sure I'm working right at that parietal ridge and right above the occipital bone. We can always layer more, can't we? But once it's gone and this is too spindly, then that's not going to be great. But what I've got here, and I'll raise this up a little bit, is I have the underneath clipped away, and then I'm going to go ahead and, okay, looking for shortest at the back. Oh, you totally could go shortest to the back, but I'm going to be doing, I think I'll do, I'm going to do maybe a square shape. No, I'm going to work to an increase in length. So you can do whatever you want. If you place a square layering pattern on your layering, it'll be longer on the sides and shorter in the center. Whenever you place a square on top of the head, you'll get a nice rounded shape. If you want the layers to be longer than that, though, instead of cutting square, we can just cut to an increase in length. So what we'll do is we'll create a V in the middle. And that's going to be something that will be a little bit softer. It will blend a little bit more. If we were going into, let's say, kind of a shag and you wanted it close to the head, we could round this top and round into just like a real skinny bottom. So you can utilize this for a lot of different patterns. So I'm going to go ahead and start by taking a central section from the forehead back to the occipital bone. And I'm going to work from the let me see. What do I want to do? What should I do? I'm going to go to an increase in length on both sides. I'm going to pivot. Okay, I'm going to pivot all the way around. That's what I'm going to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to, the center, the high pointed head will be the shortest, and we'll be working out from that. Pinning Jenny Lynn, hello. I don't know where I've been. I've been here for the last 10 years of your life. I was just explaining, though, that I have my Sharp Scissor Society, which is my membership program. And inside of that program, I'm doing a masterclass series right now. And I'm working with live models. I'm taking them from like the consultation, my design process, through to the actual haircut, and then some of the business of hair, your pre-booking, product recommendation, all of that type of thing that's just so important because it's all about the business, isn't it? Okay, so, oh, thank you, Diana, yes. Okay, here we go. So the high point of the head is when you take the comb and you place it right on the top of the head on a vertical parting, and you make sure that it balances horizontally. Right there where it balances, that is considered the high point of the head. It's not where we normally would part the hair, but this is where it will flow to gravity. Okay, it'll fall off the high point of the head. So I'm actually going to take my parting right here. So the underneath is pinned away, and I'm going to take my parting right at that point. So now I have basically 4 quadrants. I have the high point of the head, and I've got the front sectioned away, and then the back is also in 2 sections. I'm going to simply pivot all the way around. So I'll start in the back first, and I'll take a central vertical section. And working with disconnection is a really great way to be able to keep length and density down at the bottom. So we started this out, for those of you that are just joining me, we started this out by sectioning away the underneath area. So I parted off at the parietal ridge, and this area underneath I'm not going to touch, but we'll make sure that it blends because of working to an increase in length. So I'm going to come up, let's take the top relatively short, and let's just work straight up. Okay, these are my 7-inch angel blades. They're a Japanese molybdenum steel made in Japan. They have the country of origin on the back. So if you're buying scissors and you ever want to know if they're actually Japanese, they would have to have a country of origin on them. So if they don't, then they're probably not. Not that there aren't other places that have great scissors, because there are. So taking pivoting sections, I'm going to cut everything to that increase in length. So I'm utilizing a traveling guide, and a traveling guide means you're just moving around the head. You're going to get an even length all the way around when you're using a traveling guide. Okay, so I've taken 2 sections. We can do this in 3 sections, working that same elevation. So just working 90 degrees from the top of the head up to that increase in length. So this is going to blend as we drop it down. Now, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay, I'm going to complete one side, then I'm going to complete the opposite side. So, okay, so Jose just asked if we can do this on wavy or curly hair. Absolutely. It definitely works on that. If it's getting into the excessively curly, you're going to have to watch the connection. Wavy hair works great with disconnection. Curly hair, you just be a little more careful. The curlier the hair, the more I would be conscious of the disconnection, because as you know, curly hair doesn't follow any particular guidelines. Okay, so all sections are being over-directed to the guide. No, I'm utilizing a traveling guide. So each section, Jillian, as I'm working around, is traveling. I've just turned the mannequin head. So yes, I'm at the highest point of the head for my first guide, and now I'm using traveling guide and just pulling everything up 90 degrees from the top of the head and cutting to an increase in length. So the traveling guide, I'm going to split my previous section, comb that out of the way, then I'll turn her a little bit. So I was right here working. Now I'm going to be right here. So I've got a little bit of my previous guide in there. You can see I'm pulling to the center of each section as I go. I'm not over directing everything into one. So I'm working around the head. And I'll turn her. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to see if I'm turning the mannequin, because it looks like I'm staying in one spot, doesn't it? Well, I am staying in one spot, but the hair is not. Okay, so just moving around. So now you'll see I'm over on this side of the head. So I'll go this way with it so you can see.
So, Jenny Lynn wants to know if it's shaggy.
So is this cut going to be shaggy? It'll be a little bit shaggy, yes, because of the length I'm taking those layers on top. But you don't have to take them that short. You can if you want. I'm going to cross check here. Yep. So when I'm cross-checking, I should be able to see a little bit of that V that I started with. So we're just pulling across, pulling that up, and I can see that V developing. Do you have a specific mannequin that I like to practice cuts on? It really depends on the cut. This particular cut is a hair art mannequin. Her name is Mia. And she's great when I'm doing kind of longer into bobs. And then I'll take her into short eventually. But I usually will use her for my longer cuts. I just see that Didier has just joined me. Hi, Didier. He is one of my fellow artists that has worked on the Synergy Cutting program for Cal Corporation. And we actually are doing a program pretty soon together, I think, in Toronto. It's our Synergy 2.0. So you have to go to 1.0 first. We're so excited to be bringing 2.0. We're working on live models. Okay, so this is the same guide from the high point of the head right here, that I used in the back. And remember, in the back, I was working to an increase in length. Then I'm working that traveling guide all the way around, okay? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do exactly the same thing in this top area. That really helps for keeping long, yes. So somebody just commented that this is going to be really great for keeping the length and also adding volume in through that top area. Okay, so here we go. Now, this is going to be interesting because I'm not taking it into, there's my guide, into a short fringe, am I? I'm going to work to an increase in length all the way around. Okay, so in the front is actually going to be longer. So what we're going to have when we dry this off is we're going to have a lot of layers and movement up on the top, but a longer fringe that we can then do some different things. So, okay, once again, following through with that traveling guide. So I'm taking a little bit of my previous section and then traveling it to my next section. A Chelsea? I don't know, maybe. Somebody said, I think it's called a Chelsea. That's a cool name. Makes me think of like the Beatles and all that good stuff. Chelsea. Chelsea Market. Or an old TG cut, yeah. Okay, so here we go. You can see how I'm traveling around the head now, and that is my disconnection right here. So underneath, all of this hair is clipped out of the way. So I'm not working my way down into that. So the parting you're seeing right here is simply the disconnection spot. And yes, they're pie-shaped sections all around the top. Okay, so here we go. Continuing with this one. So this is actually a very simple, quick way to create a great layering pattern. Okay, should have one more here. Pulling all that up. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so Tina just said I'm one of the best educators she's ever watched. Well, I appreciate that more than you know. More than you know. And right now I'm thinking, okay, well, I missed a spot there. Hopefully you didn't see that. Oh no, it's from the underneath. There we go. I'm good. Woo. Okay, so I've completed that side, and then I'm going to go ahead and complete the opposite side. Now, you guys, for anybody who's in the Atlanta area or wants to take a trip there, it's really easy to get to. I'm going to be doing a 2-day hands-on class in July 14th and 15th at Jacob Kahn's salon. So I'll be there, and we're doing a look and learn the first day where I'm doing live models. So you'll see my whole design process. So it'll be like how I analyze face shape, skull shape, body shape, and then how we detail and create a shape for somebody and personalize it for them. So that's July 14th and 15th. And you can just go to my website, which is my name, sanabrado.com, and click on the education area. Classes, and you can see the tickets there. Okay, keep going. I'm going to follow all the way around, make sure I don't get too much hair there. Oh, yes. And you guys, you heard me talk about my Sharp Scissor Society. Sharp Scissor Society members, you guys get 15%, 15, yeah, I always get the percentages wrong. You get 15% off of all my education. So all of the ticketed education that I do, you get percentage off, 15% off your scissors, your angel blades. Or right now, actually, I'm not using my swivels just because I normally grab these guys when I'm working on long hair. But my swivels, which I did a little live on last week where, just working with the different positions, you can put your hand in so that you don't have to raise your arm up to actually get into position for cutting. My swivels are on sale right now, or on sale, they're special. They're the featured scissor of the month and they're 20% off. And so you just use the code, I've got it written down, swivel 20% when you check out. Yeah, 20% sign, yeah. So swivel 20% sign, and you get 20% off my swivels. And that'll be going through June 16th, I think it is. Yes, June 16th. Okay, so now if somebody has short top like this, and they're used to having long hair, they're going to maybe freak out a little bit right now, aren't they? So I always like to say, don't worry, we're just going to take this down now, and you'll be able to see how pretty you are. Okay, there we go. Isn't that better? So now they have all of that long hair surrounding. And so what we did was we created this really nice shorter layering pattern on top. And then I'm going to do like the cardinal sin here, take my mannequin off, but I need to be able to show you guys this. So it's like, wait a minute, where is it? Disconnection. Let me go this way. There we go. So what we have then is we have our layering pattern, and it's sitting on top of this hair underneath that's disconnected. And I always like to do this type of technique because it saves your density around the ear area. So I'm going to go ahead and do just a little bit of blow drying. I won't do a polish dry or anything because I think it's just about as boring as watching paint dry. And then should we do a West Coast fringe where we can move the hair both directions? I'm going to do it when the hair is wet. I'm going to leave them nice and long, but I want to have a little peekaboo there. So the West Coast fringe, and we call it West Coast because it creates a W. We'll go off of the high point of the head. So once again, finding the high point. This is really effective when you're just trying to find a fringe area or you're working with where the natural fall is. So I'm going to go from that point out to the eyebrow. And this is one of my favorite fringes for long hair because it allows the client to wear their hair any direction. You can wear it down the middle, off to one side, or off to the other side. So you're not stuck on one side with your fringe. So, oops. Okay. All right. So I would love to know, do you guys do more, or actually I should say, do you want to see me do more long hair, more short hair? Is there anything in particular that you would like me to focus on when I do these lives? Because I just think about it and I'm like, oh, I'll grab a mannequin, whatever she has, she has. We'll work with her. So if you have anything in particular that you would really like to see, let me know. Throw it in the comments, because then that gives me ideas. And if you're part of my Sharp Scissor Society, we can always talk about those things when we do our live. So I released my masterclass series on the first Monday of the month, the pre-recorded video, and they're really nice. We did a really good job with them. And then the second Wednesday of the month, we do a Q&A on Facebook. So we get to just chat and, kind of go over what the whole concept was. Okay, so here we go. What did you say, Mark?
50% long versus short.
Oh, 50% long versus short. Great, keep going. I'll just keep doing it. Okay, what about bobs? Do you guys want to see some more bobs? I mean, bobs are so popular right now. Okay, so for this West Coast fringe, you need 4 sections. So 4 sections. You're going to create your central vertical parting, okay, right there. And then you've got your outside parting. And then you're just going to split those evenly into, let's see if she can show here. So I've got 4 even sections. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a W. So the longest point is going to be right in the middle of these 2 sections, right there. So kind of right down by the cheekbone or cheekbone jawline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my carve-in slides. And these are great when you're working, and maybe you don't want to use a razor. These are great scissors for, kind of giving a soft razor type of feeling because they're not a straight blade. So they actually have a curved blade and push the hair, which gives a real soft blend. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to keep these nice and long because I want it to still have a long feel to it. So we're going to go from the nose down, and I'm just going to create little soft pieces, short to long, just real soft, almost like a razor. So that's on one side, and then I'll do the same thing right here. Now this is a technique called the West Coast Fringe, and it's inside of my Sharp Scissors Society videos as well. I've got over 100 videos inside of the membership that go into all of these techniques, and I teach them all. So coming in right here, I'm going from the same point, and remember I'm working down, just soft. See how soft that is? Can you see that? I don't know. I feel like I want to go up a little bit higher with her so you can see it. There we go. It's almost like you're petting the hair. Okay, that's good. They don't have to be exact because she's never going to wear it straight down over her face. So we have short to long. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go the opposite direction on this outside piece. So we're not cutting these pieces anymore. We're going to go short to long from the outside down to that same point. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that. It's going to be my guide. Coming in here, I can see that point. I'm going to come from the outside down to that point. So can you see that point? Can you see that clearly right there? Look at that, nice and soft. We don't want any hard lines here. We want it to be nice and soft. Okay, same thing on the opposite side. This is a longer live. Normally I don't do full haircuts. Woohoo. Okay, nice and soft. I'm going to be down in Dallas, in Fort Worth actually, in about, I don't know, the month or so. And so if you have any, if you're a client and you want to get your hair done, I've got one more opening on, do you know what date that is, Mark? When I'm down in Dallas? Just go to my booking page. It's on my website, sonabrado.com, and go to booking. You can find it there. Okay, so what we have now is we have a nice little opening in the middle, and we have a little opening from those side areas. So when she combs this, or brushes, or just moves it with her hands from side to side, you have that little bit of short to long coming from that side. You have short to long going this way, so it pushes and holds. And you have, off of the center, the short to long in the middle. So I'm going to kind of rough dry this. I'll put a little bit of the KMS Add Volume Styling Foam. So you guys know I'm a global educator for KMS, so I do a lot of work for them. Okay, so June 9th and 10th, I'm down in Dallas. So I think it's the 10th. So once again, just so you guys know where my education is coming up, I'm in Orlando at the premiere show. I'll be doing a classroom with Jack Howard, who is a brilliant colorist. He's in the DC area, originally from England or Europe. And I'll be with him on the main stage and Social Art House. So Social Art House is a company that manages artists. And so they're putting together the show, and we're doing the show for them. And then I'm doing a classroom with Jack as well. And it's all about suitability and adaptability for cuts and our clients and color. So he's doing the color, I'm doing the cutting. And that is June 1st through the 3rd is when that's happening. So let's get in here and do a little bit of blow drying so you guys can see the finished result. I'm going to stop talking because you probably can't hear me. So, although I will say when you're blow drying a fringe like this, make sure that you're blow drying it back and forth across the grains of the hair. What you don't want is you don't want to just blow dry a hole into it, and you don't want to try and push it back. We're just gently letting it drape back and forth. And all you have to do is worry about what the fringe or what the root area is doing. Everything follows the roots. So once you've created your base with the roots, then all you have to do is polish the ends with the brush on hair like this. So we're getting some of that lift in through this top area. This could be diffused as well. Okay, I'm not going to worry about drying the back completely, but I am going to go in and round brush that fringe just a little bit. Are you guys loving this little cut? I would encourage you guys to go to my website, which is sonobredo.com, because you can find out all about Sharp Scissors Society, the classes that I'm doing, where I'm going to be. Check out my scissors, do all of that right on the website. And it's just my name, so sonnabrado.com. Okay, so I'm just going to use the brush. And round brush these under just a little bit. Liking those. And we'll do just a little smoothing here. A little bit of twist drying there. Stay. Okay. And as I said, I'm not going to finish out the entire blow dry because I think that's mean. All right. Okay, are there any questions over there, Mark, that people are asking? No questions. Okay, yeah. I know, blow drying is painful. I'm sorry. All right. So let's do one last little thing on that fringe. I'm going to use my texturizers for this. It's my 40-tooth texturizers. And I love these because I can create really strong or just really soft effects with them. And they're almost like a classic blending texturizer, and you can remove a lot of hair with them, which is what I like to do. So I'm going to, oh, I like that. Pretty. Okay, right in the center, just in case she wants to see a little bit easier, I'm going to give a little hole right in the middle. So I'm just going to take a very small little section right in the middle, right here. So there's still plenty of coverage in the fringe. So I'm going to just take this, and I'll show it from the side. I'm going to lift this up and texturize into it. So right here, and I'm going to come in and just close and continue closing as I work my way out. So I'm not removing all of the hair, I'm just creating a soft little blend. And it gives just some real soft little sexy pieces right in the center there. Nothing really definite, but it just creates that little opening to be able to see out of. Okay, let's do a pop top on top. This would be really pretty all blown out. I think we need this haircut. Okay, so I'm going to go right back to that high point of the head again, finding that, and then I'm going to do just a small little section on top. Right here. Or like that. So it's a horizontal section across the top of the head. And this is going to give us a little bit of lift right in that area. So I'm going to come in right like this and just start cutting as I move my way up. And you can see that some of those pieces are like pretty short. But when you do this, you get just that little bit of lift right in that crown, right in that very top area. So it's a fun little technique. Okay, so the whole concept on this particular haircut is that it is disconnected. And you can't really see the disconnection when it's down, okay? But when you tip her, you can definitely like grab where that disconnection is. This is great for people that maybe don't have as much density patterned on the side of their head. There's that disconnection. And you want to make sure that you can keep enough bulk down at the bottom so that they don't feel like it's, you know, vacant around the ear area. So what I did was I went in with a horizontal section right at the parietal ridge, clipped that up, and then made sure with the client, you always want to check, make sure that they feel like they've got enough hair down at the bottom. So like right down here. Actually, one interesting thing I recently heard in a class was if somebody says, if you ask them, you know, to talk about the length of their hair and they touch right here in front, you know, and they're looking in the front and they're like, okay, I like it long here, that means you need to keep length in the middle or on the sides. And if they go like this and turn around and look and shake their head, they're looking at length back here. So wherever they look at their length is kind of where they want to keep it mostly. So I thought it was interesting. But so we took that section, pinned it up, and then we clipped the underneath out of the way. What I did next was I went from the high point of the head and I created my layering pattern from my guide. So I worked right off the high point to an increase in length. So the very shortest point is right at the high point of the head, right where I did that little pop top at the end. I worked in pivoting sections around the back, all the way around, to an increase in length. So everything was 90 degrees from the top of the head to an increase in length. Continued that throughout the front, same pivoting sections, and then went in and did the West Coast fringe. So we worked with 4 sections and created points in the middle. So we actually created a little W. Then a little pop top on top, and there we have it.